Okay, let's take a look inside the text inspector and how we can utilize that to build things like display text and just basic paragraph text. So what we want to do to be able to access this is up here at the very top of our timeline. Our menu bar is directly below here, and we've got an A, and that refers to our text window, or basically our text inspector. So what we want to do is go ahead and select A up here, and what's going to happen is that's going to bring up our text inspector tab here, text 4, and I've got text 5 here. So I want to go to a new tab. So I'm going to make sure that I'm moving from my score here. I'm going to move over to text 5 because that's my new tab for myself. And we've got a couple of options here along the front. Now, one thing that we can do is we can add in a new text element if we want to, if we're interested in that, by the little plus sign here, a new cast member, or we can just modify, kind of go back and forth between the text members that we have. I want to go ahead and just add in display text here. So I'm going to type that. And that's going to give me the name of the text as it shows up in my cast. So down here in my cast, if I deselect this, I'm going to see display text right down here. And that's the label of the text, not the text itself. Now when I want to apply some text on my own, this is where the magic happens, right here in this white space, this white area. So right here I can adjust my margins. I can increase the space here, or the size of my background for my text. But as I start to type, this is where the I-beam sets right here in the center, and that's where I'm going to begin to type. So I would say want to make this, I'll just type in text inspector, and I'll go ahead and drag this out just a little bit, give me a little bit more room. And here, if I select this just like I would do in Word or any other text creating application, I can drop down and I have my typefaces here that I can select from. So I pick something that's most appropriate for me. I also have the ability to do bold, italic, underline options here. I can adjust the size of the text that I want, so I can make that a little bit smaller there too. This is my leading, my line spacing. So if I have a number of, I've got a body of text that I want to work with, I can adjust the line spacing here in these parameter controls. And here is my alignment. So if I've got left alignment, right alignment, I have all those options here that I can choose from. And then here is my kerning. So if I want to adjust, kind of loosen that typeface up just a little bit, I have those adjustments here that I can make. And once I have it ready, once I have my text kind of placed the way I want it, I can go back to my score, and it shows up down here inside of my cast since I gave it a name, and I can just click and drag it from my cast onto my stage, and I have it right here. Now notice this fits. This is following itself since I had this selected up here in my channel. It's going to place itself here in the first channel. I don't want that, so I will actually drop it below so it plants itself on top of everything. Because Director, remember, works differently than most other Adobe applications. Is anything that's on the bottom is actually going to be on the top. So if I can drop this down here, and anytime I want to go back to modify it, I can double click on it inside of my cast here, and I can go back to it, make any modifications I can, and then I can click and drag it here and move it on my stage. I will notice that I do have this against, as you see, a white background. So this isn't going to layer too well against my graphics that I have. So what I want to do is come up here to my property inspector again, make sure that my sprite tab is selected, and I can change my ink down here from copy. I can change that to a matte, in this case just a matte background. So that eliminates that white background problems that I was having. and allows me to composite that on top of any elements. So that's essentially how our text inspector is going to work for us. Very easy to use, just some minor things to go and incorporate that into your movie.